Sure.
We're going live on Facebook. I do believe we're ready, Commissioner Simmons. Please proceed.
Fine, thank you. I'll call the meeting together of the Security Subcommittee today, August the 13th. Myra, will you could do a roll call?
Commissioner Simmons,
Present.
Commissioner Windmiller, Commissioner Cox,
Here.
Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Galladay, Commissioner Pistello,
Present.
Commissioner Beach,
Present.
Commissioner Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman, Commissioner Gully.
Okay, need a approval of the minutes for the June 11th, 2020 Subcommittee meeting. Is there any corrections or additions that need to be made? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes and place on file.
So moved.
Have a motion, have a second? I'll make that second. Myra, need a roll call. I need a vote. Please, all in favor, say aye.
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 Ayes have it. Need approval of the minutes for the July 19th, 2020 Subcommittee meeting, the open meeting. Is there any additions or corrections need to be made to them? Hearing none, I'll need a motion to approve those and place on file.
A motion. Cox.
Have a motion by Commissioner Cox. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Thank you. Next on the agenda, law enforcement service agreement with Sinclair County Sheriff's Department. Steve Berry and Kevin Scott, you have comments for the commissioners?
Good morning, everyone. This is just a renewal of the general policing contract with Sinclair County. It's done on a year-by-year basis. The specifics of the contract have not changed at all. The deployment numbers have not changed. And we have accepted are proposing to accept the price change. It's about a 3% overall increase from last year. I think last year was about 1.8 million, and we're looking at 1,852,243. So it's just about a 3% increase. And again, this is for the general MetroLink policing detail.
Is this for the 15 officers? I believe it is 15 deputies.
Yes, sir. So I believe it's 17.
17.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And Commissioner, just to note, the contract specifically is a general contract, does not talk about the individual billable rates. But we do take direction from the billable rates directly from the district. And as you know, the district set those rates I believe a few weeks ago. And so we're going with that directive from the district.
Okay. So the only language is the same as last year, except for the increase, right?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
I assume this is just an annual contract, a 1-year contract, right?
That's
yes,
correct.
sir.
And I guess my other question is a general one, is because they don't have as many issues as far as how many officers they have available and stuff. Are we always kind of pushing for the most that we can get, pretty much in general, or?
I'm sorry, as far as the general policing contract, we did not ask for an increase in the general contract total deployment. It's been 17 for the last 2 years.
17.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And again, if I can just reemphasize, this is actually the general policing contract. This doesn't apply to secondary law enforcement. This is just the MetroLink daily
this is-
operations.
County, right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Kevin? I'll entertain a motion to approve the law enforcement service agreement with Sinclair County Sheriff's Department.
Galladay makes the motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, ayes have it. Update on the ride and abide policy. Stephen, Kevin, comments, informational only?
Yes. So we've had a couple of weeks behind our belt here to get the ride and abide fully vetted, accepted, placed out into the system. And a couple of movements that we've had since we've applied this is that we already have 4 individuals that are in part of processing with the ride and abide at this time, which is going quite smoothly. We produced the SOP and the operating procedures, which we had trained staff over the last few weeks in regards to how this program is to work systemically. We've also, we'll be looking forward to also working with G4S in a more intimate relationship with training along with our task force partners. During this time, we've also included a ride and abide coordinator that we had inside who is cross-training right now. Her name is Lauren Becker. She will oversee the ride and abide day-to-day program, maintaining data and records and analysis of the data that we're accepting. The full-time data analyst and research database manager is Andrea Jumper, who works with the task force to produce our overall Part 1 and Part 2 crime rates that are produced and given to this board. Also, the training coordinator has been identified and trained. His name is Larry Kirk. He provides training that is systemic across all TSS G4 law enforcement partners. And in addition to that, Kevin Sissel and Gerald Abernathy are the special operations security individuals that work on a daily basis with G4 law enforcement. So with the 4 individuals that we've recently placed inside the ride and abide, this process so far has worked to be quite smoothly. Now, of course, what we're shooting for is to gain compliance and lower offense rate. We are not looking to go out there and satisfy our needs on fare evasion or whatnot from this program. This program is to grow and grow our understanding of analysis, conduct our task force data to where we're targeting our locations based on what the data is telling us. Of course, to reduce our vulnerabilities right now. We have 5% of some of our ridership cause 90% of our problems. And the ride and abide program is to focus on those individuals at this point. We have experienced an overall great acceptance from those that are being involved with this, because it seems to reduce a lot of tension at the time while we're dealing with these high profile types of incidences. Are there any questions in regards to the ride and abide at this time?
If I can comment.
Yes, sir.
So one of the issues is obviously ride and abide is aimed towards, and you know, as commissioners, you have commented, when we know that there are problem individuals, what are we doing about these individuals? This gives us that tool to deal with, you know, essentially our worst offenders. And as a matter of fact, the team has jumped on this. There, as of the last count that I saw, there was already 3 individuals banned. And as a matter of fact, I've heard from our police partners that this is an extra tool really for the worst offenders, and they're really essentially excited that they have this extra piece because quite frankly, the law enforcement partners who are out there know who our trouble individuals are. So this gives them an extra tool to try to deal with this. And I've heard just independently and wanted the commissioners to know from some of our law enforcement. I heard from the sergeant of the city, and I heard from Lieutenant Peters, actually in St. Clair County, that they saw this as a good option. So anyway, just wanted to mention that from my level.
I have a question. The incident that we had the meeting on took place at, with the social media. Is that fit into this ride and abide? I mean, have those individuals that perpetrators of that, are they involved in something like this being?
Yes, sir. So as an example, that individual based on that offense is one of the banned individuals. So I believe that female was number 3 on the list so far. So there was another was, you know, kind of a chronic person who was destroying our equipment, actually a seat cutter. So you can see those are things where we have a chronic issue, and look, that's perfectly clear. We don't need those people to be on our system. So using this as a design to clear up those known individuals that we know we need to get out, I think is the appropriate use. And staff's been doing a good job with that.
Very good.
I appreciate I appreciate that info, because that's always been my concern. Is I like the ride and abide. It's just like with any rule, though, common sense will tell you if you don't have any means or ways to actually enforce it, then it's just a joke, you know, then they don't take it seriously. And so I see we have Lorraine on the call today. And so we've had a couple of incidences, you know, go on. And so I'm just curious from your perspective and the study, exactly when, you know, one of our officers sees somebody not abiding by the ride and abide policy, what exactly is supposed to take place?
Morning. Thank you, Commissioner Cox. Let me say that I think that this is being rolled out within Metro the right way. I want to start with I'll get your very specific question, but the one warning, and I think you guys are all mindful of this, is making sure you use this in an equitable manner. So you want to make sure as you're bringing this as a tool that you're thoughtful about who you exclude, because it can also bite you on the other side. So being thoughtful and having criteria about who gets excluded and what those parameters are very important as you bring this this tool forward. And especially in a situation when there's lots of volatility, and you don't want to be precluding people that might need the public transportation system for work purposes or other purposes. I mean, that doesn't mean they're never excluded, but it means you're very thoughtful about how you apply it. This is a pretty big hammer. So in talking to Kevin and Vern and Steve, it looks like they are bringing this into the system in the right way. They're watching for habitual offenders where that offender has had a chance to modify their behavior and abide by what the rules are, but then continue to act in ways that are not appropriate. And I also, the fact that they've stood up a group within Metro to review those and make sure that there's an equity in how it's being applied is actually very critical. So I'm pleased with the rollout. I think they've selected cases or opportunities for exclusion that meet those criteria, but it is something to be very mindful about is this concept of making sure you stay with those clear parameters around applying that ride and abide exclusion policy. Also, and I know that it was written in, and I assume that that's still part of it, having the ability for someone who is excluded to come back and ask for some kind of reconsideration. But that, that's just a fail safe. So if somebody is excluded, time passes, there's a way for them to come back to the system, assuming that they're therefore acting in an appropriate manner. It's a very strong tool to work with those non-compliant or those people that are really causing havoc. And I think we've seen that just starting with these 3 cases, it'll start to send a message that this behavior is not allowed on the system. So I think it is the appropriate use, Mr. Cox, and I think they are using it in an appropriate manner. I would ask that all of you be watchful as they apply it to make sure it stays as a tool that is not widely spread used. You're not trying to use this as your first line of defense. They need to have other tools, but this is definitely a powerful one to get those people off the system that are really causing the system problems. Did I answer your question, Commissioner Cox?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point is I just want our riders to all understand, again, the 95% of the good people, let's just call them, because that's part of the issue I feel is the 95%, they look at us a lot of times and like, well, they're not really doing a whole, and all you see is, somebody take a picture of somebody doing wrong and like, look, nothing's happening. And so my point is we need to let the public know this is the policy in place. And when we see somebody breaking the rule, at least we're going to go up and one of the officers is going to say, listen, this is against the rule. Here's the new policy if you didn't know. And I want other people to honestly know that there is a policy in place now and it will be enforced if you're breaking the rules, and that's all I'm asking because
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I just want to know that that's for sure being told to our officers and being used, because I think in the long run, I think that keeps people more safe.
No, I agree. And I was on a TOG call the other day, and actually the officers, the law enforcement officers were talking about this as a tool and how they felt like this was an excellent place that they could escalate when they found these offenders that would not change their behavior. So it is, that message is getting out, at least within the team. I think the trick is, how do you get the message out to the general public to understand that these are steps, and you want to do it in an appropriate manner. So I think that's the next step. I'm not sure. I think it's correct to do some test cases to make sure you have the application down, but then maybe perhaps there is a way to message this that, this behavior will not be tolerated, that there are these steps to just take you off the system. End of story.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions regarding the ride and bike policy? That was for informational only. Next, we'll move on to item 8. Need a motion to go into an executive session for the purpose of discussing legal matters as permitted under by State Development Board Policy, Chapter 10, Section 10.080, D1, legal, D3, personnel, and D11, security. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
And a roll call. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
We need a roll call.
You need a roll call vote.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Simmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Galladay,
Yes.
Commissioner Beach, Commissioner Costello,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
do believe we are set. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll reconvene the regular meeting. The Security Subcommittee has reconvened to the open session, and for board policy, no final action votes will be taken in a closed executive session. At this time, I need a motion to come back into a regular meeting. Is that correct?
No, you can move on to the minutes.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the July 9th, 2020 Security Subcommittee emergency meeting of the executive session as presented as a closed record. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second and a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Galladay,
Yes.
Commissioner Beach,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Costello,
Aye.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons.
Yes,
Motion passed.
thank you. And just for the record, I forgot to ask if there were any speaker cards submitted.
Commissioner, there were no cards submitted for today's meeting.
Very good, thank you. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
And motion by all, say aye.
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 Oppose, ayes have it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yes. You